Okay, Steve here, still here, and namaste. Namaste, namaste, and it just keeps cycling and is always in the present. So, part two video is going to be the tarot reading for the day. And for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to spend 47 minutes finding out what the tarot reading of yesterday, which was the day preceding today, the day of the solar eclipse and the new moon, and somehow in my calendar of the white magnetic dog day, those two events were occurring at 11:20, and I'll maybe look up later where exactly they're occurring at 11:20. But I think it's interesting that those two events are taking place today, and new moons are new beginnings, and solar eclipse are embracing the dark, and it's a time of releasing that which no longer serves the whole. And so it's very interesting. I did a reading, a tarot reading for yesterday. And the tarot reading, there are, you'll possibly get tired of me teaching like a lesson you already got, but there are, in most decks, I think 78 tarot cards. And of those 78 cards, there are 22 major arcana. And in the reading yesterday, we got all major arcana cards. And I can remember them because we got the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about when you resolve something, you open up the new thing that's going to happen. And the reason it's called the Wheel of Fortune was because I think of a Roman goddess called Fortuna, who the Romans, pre-Christian Romans, probably prayed to, if that was the word they used, to Fortuna to bring them good fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune brings us good fortune. If we're stuck on one number, we just keep getting the same thing. But when we, like on a roulette wheel, when we pull the ball up, we spin the wheel, we let the ball go down, bounce around, and settle on a new fortune. Then we have that. And then the Wheel of Fortune lets us know that we can continue to change and become more and more fortunate. So that was yesterday, that was kind of the past. It was past, present, future, which are all now. So that was the past, the Wheel of Fortune. The present was the Chariot. And the Chariot was about, movement and moving into new things. And the Chariot, in the card, the Chariot driver was holding the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is a wheel. And in some ways, a steering wheel. So depending on what we do in terms of being awake and aware to what we're doing and where we are, and maybe not knowing what we're doing, but where we are and we're doing it and we're trusting and we're working with our intuition and we're doing all those things and letting go of just keep repeating the past, which is what I think today, part of what today is about. It's just letting go of just repeating the past, repeating the past, repeating the past. Oh, we're having financial difficulties, let's have a war. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel done with that thinking. And let's just, as a whole, get our lives together. And how that works is we do it individually. We get our life together, and then that reflects into the world getting its life together. And we're in the last year of the 7 years of spiritual cleansing. So let me just let me just write that little text. Can I call you later? Hopefully that'll be okay, so I can finish what I'm doing here. So, in yesterday's reading, we had the Wheel of Fortune. We'll see how distractible I am. We had the Wheel of Fortune. We had the chariot with the driver using the Wheel of Fortune as his steering wheel. That's what it looks like in the video. And then the future was the Hanged Man, which has to do with making changes. And the hanged man is the symbol of hanging oneself upside down to get a different perspective in terms of what to let go of and how to make changes on our path towards discovering ourselves. So interesting enough, in the card readings today, the future became the past. So yesterday, the future was the hangman. Today, the past is the hangman. So what that says to me is you did it. You were given a task yesterday to change it up, and you changed it up. And as a result, what we have in our present is the Queen of Wands. And the story about, well, I'm going to read the story about the Queen of Wands. I could tell you the story, but I trust the brilliant person who wrote this book, put this book together, Angeles Arian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name. And she passed away in 2014, so if she probably no longer is concerned if people are pronouncing her name correctly, and she probably was the kind of person that was never concerned if people pronounced her name properly. So, presently, we have, I need to move this just slightly. Presently, we have the card as a minor arcana card called the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is the knower of the self. So presently, we're coming to know ourselves. The symbol represents self-mastery in the process of self-reclamation. So reclaiming oneself. So oneself was always there. There were just things in the way of knowing oneself. And so we're letting go of those things that were in the way. So she wears the symbol of Pisces on her chest as a symbol of the fluidity and the aspiration that is required to attain self-knowledge, an attribute often given to Piscean people. Her process of transformation and self-actualization is best described by the story she represents of a woman before she knew who she was, had black hair, and walked with a panther by her side. As she began to discover who she was, her hair turned brown, and the panther changed to a leopard. And when she fully realized who she was and began to manifest who she was in the world with her pine cone wand, her hair turned fiery red. At this stage of self-knowledge, she pinched the growth marks of the leopard to prevent it from transforming into a beautiful lion, to match her self-knowledge because she wanted a reminder of the dark places from whence she had come, the spots of the leopard. This myth represents the process of self-discovery and the splendor of awakening to the deepest essence of who we are, the radiant crown. So the Queen of Wands is the mastery of self-knowledge, and that is the card of the present. And the card of the past fell out, or the card of the future fell out of the book. And it is the Ten of Cups. So this is what we're moving into. And it's a Ten of Cups, and I don't remember, I'm not quite sure how to say this word properly. It's about satiation, which I can't even say is lisp, but satiety. It's satiation, it's satisfaction, it's having enough. So, what we're moving into is satiety or emotional contentment and satisfaction. This is a state of emotional contentment that comes from deep within and radiates in all aspects of your life, which is represented by the 10 cups on the Kabbalah or tree of life. This is satisfaction or contentment that is coming from within the cups and radiating out. The Ten of Cups is different from the Nine of Cups in the extent that the Nine of Cups is happiness that can be tangibly pointed to in the external reality. That makes me happy, that makes me happy, that makes me happy. I'm very emotionally happy. The Ten of Cups is deep emotional contentment and satisfaction that comes from within and externally radiates the quality of contentment and satisfaction. The astrological aspect of this is Mars in Pisces, knowing of oneself. Mars is the planet of energy and vitality, so this is satisfaction and contentment that has enormous vitality and expressiveness. It comes from within and radiates out in a very fluid and expansive way, which is symbolized by the astrological sign of Pisces. Basically, the Ten of Cups represents an energy and enthusiasm that is being experienced at a very deep level within and radiates out in all aspects of your life. When you pull this card, it indicates the next 10 weeks to the next 10 months, there is an experience of emotional contentment and satisfaction that comes from deep within and radiates out in all aspects of your life. It also indicates that in the next 10 weeks to the next 10 months, you will have a sense of deep energy and vitality like Mars that's very fluid like Pisces, which can be expressed outwardly in all aspects of your life. Or it could indicate also in the next 10 weeks, the next 10 months, there is an experience of emotional contentment and satisfaction. Which will, arrive in 10 months. And I don't know if that would put it in 10 months from now, if that puts it in March, because we're in April. So 10 months will put it in February. And on March 23rd of 2025, we complete the 28-year cycle of cleansing. So if we want, we can be emotionally content because it's the card of the future, which is like now. Because I pulled this card 20 minutes ago or so. So this is the future already. So you can be emotionally content now, and you can radiate that out. And I would suggest that if we've already let go of a lot of things we need to let go of, but presently we're in the Queen of Wands, which is self-knowledge. So we're in a process of getting to know ourselves, and then we're going to be radiating out this love of this white dog day. And that love is going to be radiating out all throughout the world. And this is part 2 of this reading or video or solar eclipse, working with it, consciousness. So this is part 2. And part 3 will be setting up a healing field, which I'll be doing as soon as I answer that message that came in during this reading, which won't be long. And so once again, we'll bring this to completion, and I will say, see you soon, and now must go.